The best opportunities in the financial markets are usually to be found in places where nobody is looking. So that's why today we're gonna look into two companies, well, one commodity and one company where currently nobody is paying attention to what is happening. So stay tuned, we're diving into both natural gas and Hongkong China Gas. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe and you are probably aware, if you have been in the financial markets for any longer than a couple of minutes, you are aware of that saying, that old wisdom that you should be greedy when others are fearful and you should be fearful when others are greedy. And there is also another way to interpret that saying. It's not only that when others are fearful in a set market that you should be greedy, but you should also be greedy when nobody is talking about a set market. That is, if you will, the second level deep of wisdom that lies in that very sentence. Because it is also likewise true that when everybody is talking about a hot stock, like for example Palantir or Nvidia or maybe the hottest new altcoin out there, probably the biggest gains have already been made in that market. So if you really are seeking an outperformance of your portfolio against some other assets, you should probably be looking on some places where nobody else is paying attention to, at least yet in the moment. And only by doing so can you ever be in that position where others then will start talking about that set stock, will start talking about set asset in maybe months or years down the road. And you will just be sitting there with a smile on your face because you know that you have been in that set title for months or maybe even years and have already accumulated huge gains while everybody is just trying to get in the very late stages of the run. And exactly such an opportunity is about to present itself in the commodity markets, more specifically in the natural gas market. And so before I'm gonna also show you a company where you can directly participate by purchasing a stock, we will firstly quickly look into the commodity market itself, namely natural gas. Here we are tracking the futures market with the ticker NG1 exclamation mark. And what you can see here is that after this prolonged downwards action following the Russian invasion to Ukraine, where we peaked all the way at over $10. And ever since that time, ever since the late summer of 2022, we have been in a corrective downwards phase. And as of now, currently, we conclude that this downwards phase has already established its low. We conclude that the low already is in and that currently we are working on establishing a new upwards trend. As you can see over here, following this corrective triangle, we have so far established a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves upward structure leading into an overreaching wave 1, and we are now currently working on an ABC zigzag correction leading all the way down into the bottom of a wave 2, and this bottom of the wave 2 will be the pivot point for the biggest price gains to occur in the near future, because in the commodity markets, waves 3 are always quite strong, but usually the strongest ones and the most impulsive ones will be waves 5 in the commodity market. So far we only have in the wave 1, and we, as you can see here, we currently conclude our target zone here for this wave 2 low is rather low. So by the time we see the course all the way in here in the target zone, we really are set up for massive gains to unfold. That's why me personally, I will pay very close attention to the price action in the next couple of weeks and maybe even months in natural gas, and I will pay so close attention to the time when we will be dipping into the target zone here, because I will be loading up on futures in natural gas. I personally think commodity markets are brilliant for investing because a commodity can never go broke, right? A company can always go broke, can go bust, but a commodity can never. So that's why if we have a commodity that has just in recent history been all the way up at over $10, I think it's a brilliant opportunity to get into natural gas here inside our target zone. And that's why I would not want to miss any updates in natural gas in the near future. And the best way for you to also not miss any updates is down there in the description. There's a link taking you to our website. And in case you didn't know so far, we distribute a daily market analysis service, meaning you can choose out of 200 markets, and for every single one of the markets that you subscribe for, you will get daily updates. You will get push notifications, you will get entries into our model portfolio, you will get target zones. You will know exactly when to enter the market and when to exit the market. So down there in the description, I would highly recommend you checking that out. But now back to the analysis. So from that point onward, we would easily see, let's maybe just assume somewhere here in the middle of our target zone, we would just in the next move alone see an easy 300% gain. And that's just for the wave 3. We're not even talking about wave 5 yet. Another company that we also analyze in our service, which is also quite under the radar that I brought here for you, is Hongkong China Gas. Huge energy company out of, well, you guessed it, China, obviously. Usually the Chinese companies in the energy sector are rather unknown compared to big American players like Occidental Petroleum, Chevron, ExxonMobil, all those, but they have the completely same business model, right? They only tailor to a different market. They only distribute to another national group, so they're just equally as interesting to me. And they again perfectly fall in that category of companies that are overlooked by many and which usually present the biggest opportunities because they're overlooked by many. And what we see here in Hongkong China Gas is that on the overreaching time frame, we will just in a second dive into the more imminent time frame, but in the overreaching time frame, we conclude that we have so far established an overreaching wave 1 top all the way back in July of 2019. And we have so far been in a 1, 2, 3 waves downward structure so far. We conclude, of course, a wave 4 and wave 5 to follow, forming an overreaching wave A, which will be followed by a countercorrective B wave and will be concluded by a final wave C corrective move, which will then and only then establish the final low of a wave 2. And then you know the drill, after a wave 2 low, always follows a final wave 3 upward structure. And only then, after this wave 2 low here, will we get our succeeding strong wave 3 rally to unfold. And by the way, just for clarification, those years down there, they do not at all align with our wave counts here. In Elliott Wave theory, we do a tremendous job in calculating price moves. We can not at all calculate moves in the timely horizon. So these years down here, you can completely disregard it. What we do is we analyze and we forecast, we project price movements, and that we do with quite a solid accuracy, but we do not at all also forecast time horizons. And speaking of time horizons, here on the more imminent outlook, we really managed to strike quite an amazing hit here with our target zone. So we actually have a target zone inside the target zone. Also not something that we pump out every single day, but here we really establish a target zone with quite a bit of confidence, and it played out beautifully. We perfectly hit this final wave 5 target zone here at the pivot point, and ever since here the hit into our target zone back in end of October 2023. So far, we have already managed to accumulate about 30% of gains, and it's not the end yet. You can see that here with the resistance at 6 Hong Kong dollars 77, there was quite a bit of struggle. We bumped up against it. We were rejected at first. We fell back through, and then we managed to now finally climb above it. And now, as we have managed to take that resistance, we concluded there's at least gonna be probably another 20% of gains to be made. And only after we reach that area here, close to 830, 840-ish in that area, only then we would see a final sell-off to occur. And that will probably take us all the way down, roughly another 50% down. And only then we will see the final low of the corrective wave A, and then a counter-corrective B wave to follow through, as you can already see here on our more broader outlook. So that was it for today. I hope it was helpful to you. Also helpful is definitely down there in the description, the link to our Instagram and X page, where we post daily informative stuff, educational stuff, fun stuff. Do not miss out if you are either on X or on Instagram. Also, if there's news in the market you should know about, we'll also pump it out. Just a short, digestible, super quick read. I always enjoy those, and up until then, see you in the next one. Take care.